So a few months ago, I decided to apply to Think Media.
You gotta just press record.
And I wanted to share the behind the scenes with you guys a little bit and kind of just delve into my experience and hopefully provide some feedback to the Think Media staff that they may use and hopefully apply moving forward. Let's get into it. Now, first and foremost, a quick disclaimer, I don't work for Think Media. I certainly do not intend this video to be any form of slandering or bashing. I wanted to merely provide some feedback as I feel like their mission statement and what they stand for is certainly very admirable, right? And so I would like for them to continue to be successful and hopefully prosper in this climate, not just for another year, 5 years, 10 years, but for hopefully decades. And my guess is that they wanted to do the same. Now, as a creative, aspiring entrepreneur, somebody who has made music videos for over 10 plus years now, somebody who went to school for advertising and graduated with a master's in marketing, you would think that I would have it all figured out, but I certainly don't. And part of it is because my full-time efforts are taken up by a career that has nothing to do with the creative services industry. In fact, I've been working in insurance for the past 6.5 years in mostly financial and risk management objectives. This has helped me to develop kind of the right side of my brain as much as I am left brain-sided, even though I do have a strong sense of numbers and math, and I was in school to be an engineer for a little bit of time, so I certainly can relate to that side of the world as well. But I started making music, and that helped me develop and create kind of a routine for learning new things in the creative spaces, whether it would be graphic design, videography, digital marketing, media production, content production, all the same. I was able to actually start a company called NTS Media and pivot a little bit from making music to focusing most of my freelancing and part-time attention to that, consulting with clients, building out their digital marketing campaigns, helping out with videography and content production and the like, as I still maintain my full-time career. I was also pursuing an MBA during that time, or the past basically 4 or 5 years of my life was dedicated to learning more of the kind of the ideals, the theory behind it, fundamentals of marketing, and that certainly helped set a stage for what is now my company, NTS Media. Now, the reason why I applied to Think Media was because, first off, I really admire what they do. I really admire the mission statement, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video. As I work full-time, benefits and kind of a consistent salary are a huge thing for me, which is why I've never really left that or abandoned that or put that to the side while pursuing my creative passion. I still kept a full-time job with this company, and I have 3 kids. I'm married, I have financial obligations, mortgage, etc. Unfortunately, I still even have a little bit of student debt. So those things are important to me, to have stability in my life and to basically give me room to breathe in order to stay creative, in order for me to be the best version of myself for my family and my kids. And albeit I fall short more often than not. I went ahead and did a little bit of research, went to their Think Media and Think Marketing YouTube channel. At the time, it was called Think Marketing. Now it's called Think Media Podcast. And sure enough, they were applying, or they were taking applications for employees. And I thought, what a better way to kind of transition into that full time than learning from some of the people that are actually doing it. Facebook and Google Ads buyer at the time was a position that was open, so I put in an application for it with my media and marketing background. I figured, hey, I might be considered. I've done, like I said, consultations for small businesses in my area. I've kind of basically dipped my toe in the water, if you will, and I have enough experience to potentially be considered for an entry-level role. So I did just that. I was surprised to hear from their director of marketing, and this is kind of where the journey starts for me. So back in April, I received an email. I think it was about a month, 2 months after I had applied for the position, and I get an email from the director of marketing. She says, "Thank you so much for applying for the ads buyer position at Think Media. We'd love to set up an interview for you with myself and our chief operations officer, who is Heather Torres, who's frequently featured on their videos. You can book a time through their Calendly website." So I went ahead and booked the 30-minute interview. I think it was like a week after I had received the email. I sent her a response. Thank you for considering me for the role. I'm looking forward to meeting with you both next week. I've gone ahead and snagged a time slot. She responds back 5 days later, a day before the interview, April 13th, I believe it was a Tuesday. She says, awesome, see you tomorrow for the interview. And I was super ecstatic because I was very happy to meet them and certainly kind of just share with them a little bit about my journey. So I did. We had a great interview. Everything went well. The interview was very personal. I felt like it was 3 people in there, Heather and 2 others. They were very personal to talk to, very personable. The entire conversation was led with smiles and kind of just it flowed very, very well. And in my personal opinion, from my vantage point, I thought everything went well. But of course, I'm only sharing from my perspective. So after the interview, I said, thanks again. I emailed them. I said, thanks again for the opportunity to interview. I love the energy you all brought to the conversation. Refreshing, to say the least, in a process that is usually pretty nerve-wracking. Let me know if there's anything else you need from me or that I can help with in the meantime. Looking forward to hearing back from you soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day, Nico. I was expecting to hear back on that Friday. That was Wednesday. They told me that they were interviewing some more candidates, that they were actually considering an agency, potentially hiring an agency to do the work that they were potentially going to hire an employee for. So there was those 2 layers of it, but that they would provide additional feedback by the end of the week, that normally these interviews would take a couple months before really selecting someone. And based on their YouTube channel, YouTube videos, I believe Sean expressed that he would like to get to know a candidate thoroughly before actually hiring them on, because culture is so important to them. And I can certainly understand that. As somebody who's basically starting out a media company myself, I wouldn't want to hire anyone that I would not like to have some sort of basic personal relationship with, that we can click with and vibe and make amazing content and hopefully take my company to the next level, and hopefully take their skill sets and their development to that next level as well. So no qualms with that. I expected to hear back on Friday. I didn't get an email back. I responded and I said, hey, hope you're having a great Friday. Do you have any updates on the position? Thank you and have a great weekend. Didn't hear back. Now, the email that I was emailing was the original one that sent me an email for the actual interview itself. It did have a canned response. Every time I emailed it, it automated a response saying, hey, this email is not checked frequently. If you have any product questions, email this place. If you have any sort of other questions, email here. I didn't have any product questions and I didn't have any questions that specifically applied to the other emails, so I kind of just let it be. And I tried to stay in touch with the director of marketing, who was the one that was also presiding over the interview. I emailed 6 days later, so basically a week later. It was Thursday, I believe. I said, just checking in to see if y'all had an update on the position. Would love to know where I stand and if there's anything else you need from me. Now, mind you guys, at this point in time, I had not heard. It's been almost a week and a half since the interview, and I had been expecting something that previous Friday. I didn't receive anything, so I just wanted to check that there wasn't anything that potentially had gone to spam, or maybe they sent a different email address for whatever reason. But I did not hear back. I did get their automated response, so I tried a different format. I actually used the emails that were included in the Zoom invite for their interview, and I emailed 3 people that were in the interview, Heather, the director of marketing, and another young lady that was present there. I emailed them in one email, included all 3 of them, and I actually didn't get a response, which was kind of a bummer. I wanted to give them the opportunity, the benefit of the doubt. I said, hey, you know what? I'm sure it's busy for them, and certainly can be busy for anyone to always be responsive to every single email. I'm sure that there's things that get in the way. I reached out via LinkedIn as well, and I actually also sent a message through Instagram just to make sure, double, triple check, verify that there wasn't anything that I was doing on my part that could potentially prohibit or inhibit any form of communication. Now, needless to say, I'm definitely not entitled to the position. I certainly wasn't from the beginning. I thought that the chemistry between all 4 of us in that interview room was certainly great. I'm sure I said something that may have been a little sideways and maybe I scared them off. I'm not sure. At the end of the day, I think one of the key lessons and the key takeaways of this video, and if you watch till the end, I appreciate you. And this is why you charge your camera. My camera just died, but one of the key takeaways from this video is, as a young startup, as a young company, as somebody who's trying to hire an employee, and certainly somebody who's selling a product, communication to your clients and communication to your potential candidates and employees is crucial, whether you're a small startup company or whether you're a billion-dollar company, corporation, which is where I work. Communication is crucial. I can't tell you how many times there are pain points with employees, candidates, clients when there's a communication breakdown. And I feel like this is an opportunity for Think Media to really revamp their communication strategies. Not just, obviously they're crushing it on YouTube, they're doing great on Clubhouse, they've been doing well everywhere else, but I feel like the person-to-person communication and connection is equally as important. So if you're listening to this, if you're considering applying to Think Media, that was my experience. I'm not sure if anyone has had that similar experience or not, but I certainly would suggest and basically recommend that their staff take a closer look at their communication strategy when it comes to hiring new personnel, when it comes to taking somebody on, or simply denying someone of an opportunity with the company and still maintaining a good reputation as an employer, as an interviewer, to the interviewee. So what are your thoughts? Do you think that there was anything else that I could have done to change or alter the course of communication? Or do you think that I did all that I could and that now the ball is in the court of Think Media? Again, this video is not to slander or harass or bash anyone. I'm simply providing some feedback because I haven't had the opportunity to do so when communicating directly with them, and I figured why not jump on YouTube to do so. Thanks for listening. I know this is kind of an off-brand video. I usually focus on music and music production and music making, some content production as well on this YouTube channel in Spanish and in English. So if you're interested in more of that, please consider subscribing. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. And Heather, if you're listening, all is well. No hard feelings. Hope you guys are doing well. And we can certainly have a conversation on this topic in person sometime soon or on Zoom call. So much love, guys.